Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we are going to return to the REO brothers. This time they're performing in LA, and they're going to do a Beatles medley, 3 covers all at once. We saw them do something similar at home with the Bee Gees not too long ago, but this time it's going to be the Beatles' Help, In My Life, and Here Comes the Sun. So this was captured by Phil Bacalzo on his channel, Phil Bacalzo's Rocking Vegas and Beyond. He got it 3 years ago. He actually told me about it on our Patreon page. Thank you, Phil. This is from July 31st, 2022 at Aratani Theater. Looking forward to it. Should be fun. And actually, the show itself happened on July 30th, 2022. They're a great band. I know that they're good live, but we haven't seen much of them actually performing live, so I look forward to that. Adrian, any thoughts ahead before we look at this?
Oh, did I ever say these guys are incredible?
They sure are, yeah, and versatile. Okay, let's check it out. We will discuss afterwards. I think they're probably going to keep going, so we may not be able to stop. If we can, then maybe we'll stop.
Just a bit story of the band. Again, we're blood brothers. Magkakapatid po kami lahat from Tacloban City. And we were discovered last 2013 when Super Typhoon Yolanda devastated our province in Leyte. And we moved to Manila, and then nag-guest po kami sa ABS-CBN Christmas Special. And during that night, dun po kami kilala as a tribute band of the Beatles from the Philippines. And here we are now enjoying the music. And of course, I want to thank you so much for the appreciation that we've rendered. And this time, I would like to give you a set of songs of the Beatles. This entails our story from the devastation to our success now. And yeah, I hope you like this. And if you know the song, then sing with us.
Yeah!
did they ever kill that? That was just the harmonies and all of that. Well, what'd you think, Adrian? What stuck out for you?
Well, the harmonies were incredible. It was just got a comment that in true Beatles fashion, they bowed to the audience at the end. These guys are the spitting image, or at least a sonic equivalent of the original.
Sure, yeah.
If I heard this without video, I'd think it was the Beatles or a record or something.
There are a couple little tells, that it's not the Beatles, but they're not huge. The harmonies were spot on. The harmonies are difficult to get right on these Beatles songs, and they got them right. I could hear everything in there exactly the way it was supposed to sound. 4-part harmonies for a lot of that stuff, as was the case with the Beatles themselves. Through every single song. The drummer also had the perfect Ringo touch. He knew exactly what Ringo was doing in each song. Everything Ringo ever did, every song he ever touched, he played differently than anything else he ever played. There's nothing similar in anything Ringo ever did from song to song throughout their whole catalog, which is a wonderful thing. I think it took people a little while to figure that out, because for a while Ringo was kind of getting a bad rap as maybe, he's not a good drummer. Well, actually, he's one of the most inventive drummers to come down pop lane, Yeah, the harmonies really blew me away. Really, I liked the suits and all that. I was looking at the instruments mostly there. I think the Hohner, the guy on the bass, could have been playing left-handed if he really wanted to be authentic. But that's going a step beyond, what is necessary for sure. No, it sounded good. It was nice to see the Hohner bass in his hands. It seemed like the lead singer on the first two songs, he was great at the John, and then RJ took over for the George. But it looked like the John character up front had what George would have been playing on guitar, one of those hollow bodies. But other than that, yeah, they've got it. They sound fantastic. They've been doing it. At this point, they'd been doing it for 10 years. They said they got notoriety first in 2013. So they've been at it a while.
Yeah, we know they got John and George down pat. I was impressed with the vocals, too.
Yeah.
And not only the vocals, but the guitar sounds authentic, too.
I thought it was great. Yeah, really enjoyed what the drummer was doing. Really enjoy the bass playing, too. All of the Beatles had their very own style. Paul's bass playing is iconic in its own right, and it may have even been somewhat influential even to some of the Motown guys, that became legends themselves. Just something about melodic bass playing at that point in time when he was doing it was pretty unusual. I don't know if there was anybody else playing a bass that way when the Beatles came along. Anyway, I love it. I love the job they did here. I was so tempted to stop, but I knew they were going to go right into the next song each time. I liked the way that they resolved In My Life. I was trying to figure out how they were going to deal with, whatever
Sped
it
up
is.
piano.
They just cut it out. They're like, no, we don't even need that part because it just goes right back to the chorus. And then they brought it in for a soft landing that was not typical of the song so that they could go into Here Comes the Sun. Now, with Here Comes the Sun, some of the vocals they did in the chorus were offbeat from the original. It seems to be something that they decided they wanted to do when they were doing this, because they'd start with, here comes the sun, do-do-do-do, here comes the sun, something like that. It was laying back a little bit from the original, just every time they did it the second time in a chorus. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking of that moog that wasn't there, but you can't really do a moog, but And they were playing it in G sharp, A flat. I don't know if that's what the original key is or not. I thought maybe it was in A, but maybe not. But it doesn't
sound like it can be far off or anything. They really have every detail down, too.
Yeah, very, very nice job. And they are celebrated for being really good at Beatles covers. And they've been to Abbey Road, that whole thing. So good on them. I want to thank Phil for pointing this particular clip out that he got. Really enjoyed that. We always love hearing this band performing the Beatles. Really, we like hearing any band performing the Beatles these days, So it's a wonderful thing. That legacy has to remain alive for as long as possible.
Yeah. Basically the original rock band. There were people doing some of the same things earlier, but they were really the first ones to be famous for, writing their own songs,
That's
playing
the thing, yeah.
instruments and everything.
Yeah, it's especially the songwriting, and then they took other things that were fairly new. I mean, rock and roll was up and running by the mid-'50s, but in terms of actually writing stuff and doing these arrangements, these harmonies, there's so much that they had going for them, and that was new to the industry at the time. So extremely important band. Whatever you think of their music, they're worth listening to. Okay, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this? If you're a fan of REO Brothers already, let us know. And let us know what your favorite Beatles cover of theirs is, for that matter. Have you ever seen them live? Let us know about that. We'd really like to hear about that. Details you think we missed in this, by all means, leave them in the comments below. Okay? And if you have other suggestions, leave those as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right? Thanks so much for joining us today. We will catch you on the next one. Take care, folks.
See you all later.